Peace, family. Welcome to another episode Underground Railroad Productions. We are in Nicholas, Brooklyn. As you can see, I am with Joel Benjamin.
Peace.
Yes, I'm with Joel Benjamin. He got on that fly Khalid Muhammad shirt, as you can see, which is available at Nicholas, Brooklyn. So if you want to get your cultural gear up, you know where to come to.
That's right.
I wanted to talk to the brother about some spirituality today. We've been hearing this term, Joel. I've been hearing this term indigo since I was young.
About how young? You got like when you say since you
Probably
were young,
since I was about 13. I've been hearing this term indigo.
so early 90s, late
Yeah.
90s, mid 90s.
So there's a lot of indigos out here that probably don't even know the indigos, brother.
Yeah.
They've been hearing the term. They don't know what is an indigo. They just been hearing the term. Check this out, Joel. The reason why I want to talk to you is because there's a lot of symptoms people are experiencing that the medical field are misdiagnosing as, something's wrong with you, man. Your emotions are going up and down. Something's wrong with you. You're feeling a little depressed. Something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
You might be a little tired. Something's wrong with you. And they're medicating these indigos, suppressing their spirituality. So I want to ask you, Joel, for the people out there that might be experiencing symptoms such as anxiety, some people may be experiencing ADHD, some people just may be feeling a little bit of rage inside of them and they don't know where it's coming from.
Ooh.
Some of them may be sensitive to electrical appliances and they're wondering why nobody else is. And when you're experiencing this and everybody else isn't, you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to seem like you're weird or some shit or that's, So, Joel, you've been dealing with energy for a long time, ever since I met you, brother. You heard what I just said, brother. Could you please elaborate for those out there that may be experiencing things that they're scared to talk about? How do they know if they're indigo and how to use it for the best of their ability?
All right. Again, shalom to the family. Peace. Hotep. Assalamu alaikum. Rastafari. Whoever the listeners out there, because I know Underground Railroad Brother Rich got a huge base. So I'm going to get into this because this is very important. And it's funny, I was shocked when Rich told me he want to talk about this topic because, number one, I'm an indigo. And I didn't know I was an indigo until I spoke. And not only just an indigo, an empath. Now, let me give you the breakdown of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Empath. Empath means emotional pathway person. Empath. Now, with an empath, now a lot of people is going to click when I say this. I don't care how much somebody put on a front, how much they smile, you be like, yo, that person don't like me. Or they sad or something wrong, you be like, nah, you sad, something is wrong. Or you're able to tell people they're pregnant before they know they're pregnant. Now that's crazy. It gets so good, you're able to tell people when they're going to be sad. And you might go to a person, you'd be like, yo, you all right? And they'd be like, yeah, I'm fine. Ain't nothing wrong with me. And they actually are cheerful and whatnot. Maybe about, let's say, an hour, maybe a next day, what happens? Oh, they're sad. Why? Because of you picked up on that energy, you was getting that ahead of time. So before I knew what I was, and I only found out this, I think when I reached the age about 23, 24, I found out. I was like, damn. The dude was like, yo, you're an empath, because he was talking to me, we was building. I was like, empath? What the hell are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you one of them indigos. And I heard the term before, but I'm like, yo, this dude is crazy. Until he started speaking on the characteristics. And he was like, this happens to you, that happened to you. People able to open up to you. People able to trust you. They able, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, the guy know what he's talking about. So it made me dig deeper. Then I ran in the course of my life, I ran into a dude named Dr. Alim Bey. I met him actually through Brother Rich. Now, Dr. Alim Bey, he deals with the Reiki. Him and his wife, very good people. So he gave me a breakdown of it with the different points in the body and how to activate certain things, especially to he was getting into the tantric sex practices before. Now, pay attention to that part. Notice I said tantric sex or just sex, period. Because what I got to learn with some indigos, they like to take them and have them in sex rituals. Now, I'm jumping the gun, but I had to end up putting that out there because I'm going to get back into that. Now, it is what it is. Some people may say, oh, this is some spooky stuff. Well, let me ask you, if it's spooky stuff, people who are into Kemet, you see they got the sex rituals on the walls. Would you think they just having them sex rituals just to have them? It's a ritual. That means they're conjuring up something. They know what they're doing. And they only pick selected people. You could go do the research on that. Only certain group of people were able to enter the room. Unless you were royalty. Well, actually, no. When you get to learn deeper in it, they didn't even care if you was royalty. You had to be at a certain stature, body-wise. And when I say body-wise, I'm talking about not just physically, internally, mentally. Now, before I go on deeper to the indigo, excuse me, you have to remember there's different kinds. You have the crystal children. You have the indigo children. You have the rainbow children. And I know this is going to be like off for some people that they never heard. You have the shadow children. All right? Excuse me. When I say shadow children, I'm not talking about, oh, this person is a shadowy figure, whatever. So I'm going to break down each one so you can understand better. Now, they say the indigos is the ones within in the 80s, earlier on, right? But once I started doing more research, I got to find out that it have more indigos being born. Now, indigos is always known to be very forceful and whatnot. One day I heard a lecture, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Bobby Hemming. He was talking about it, and he was like, oh yeah, if you don't check them early, they could be serial killers. So I was like, what the hell Bobby talking about? You know Bobby be out there. I'm like, what the hell Bobby talking about? But I researched it, and then I checked with most indigos I talked to. They on some, yo, this person need to die. Like, they not trying to hear it. They quick to have that vengeance up in them. You get angry quick, and you don't like when people play you. It's not like a regular person don't like when a regular person play them. Like, they get like real annoyed.
Is it an excess amount of energy inside?
Well, that's a good question. Rich asked me, is it something with an excess amount of energy inside? Yes. It is, because when you're an empath, especially if you don't know you're one, can't tell you how much people walk through these doors and I speak to them and they're like, yo, I don't know what's going on with me. After they give the characteristics, I'll be like, yo, you're an empath. I'll be like, yo, ain't nothing wrong with you. You don't need no damn spiritual bath. Listen, you just need to, yo, because, especially because, people like to call me MC Spookism. So they everything going to be like spooky. I'm like, yo, you don't need no spiritual bath. Ain't no demons bothering you. Listen, from me talking to you, just you interacting with me, your energy I'm feeling, you're an empath. So they're like, what's an empath? I break that down to them. And then I say, on top of that, you're an indigo, which is like even stronger. So I give them the whole breakdown of the indigo like I'm doing now. So when they have this amount of energy, they don't know how to channel it because they absorb people's energy. And when they come around an energy that they don't like, I'm just talking about the indigos now. When they come around, especially if the person don't know they're an indigo, oh man, it's explosive. It could be problems. So with that said, let's move on. And it's really that simple. I ain't going to go too deep. It's not this big type of way. And I'll tell you how you could find out if you're an indigo, crystal, rainbow, or shadow child, or whatever the case is. Now, the thing about indigo got traits of all of them. Indigo got traits of rainbow, shadow, crystal. That's why you'll meet some indigos. They'll be very calm, nice, easygoing, nice people to deal with until they reach that point where they get pissed off. And it's like, yo, that person is a damn demon. They got a demon on them, but that's not the case. It's just that they can't handle the energy. So let me break down crystal children. Now, crystal children, they say those are the ones that's born more in the late 90s, going up to the early 2000s, blah, 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 blah. Now, The crystals, they're more psychically in tune. Now, don't get me wrong, indigos are very psychically in tune, but crystals will be more aware of it. You're very rare you'll find a child that's a crystal, or a grown person that's a crystal, and don't know they're a crystal. You get what I'm saying? And I know I'm giving time frames. Don't get locked into the time frames, meaning the years of what the indigos or whatever. This is just around the time the Caucasian started noticing these things, or when they coming out, because they have something called the Human Genome Project. Ben had crystals being born, Ben had rainbows being born, Ben had indigos being born. It just so happens that in the 80s it spiked. The shadows, everything, like the stuff just spiked, and they've been keeping track ever since. They've been keeping track actually since the 50s, but they did not know and understand what it is. To get more easier insight information on that, like I did with Brother Rich, the lecture on the Giants, and you could go check out the FBI website. The FBI, before the FBI actually ended up being the FBI, they was already doing research like that in the government. And once they came to form in the FBI hands with the more so the paranormal files, or what people will call X files. So you could check out that information. Go on the site. Again, if you do go on that site, just be careful, because they're gonna track you right away. They're gonna see what you're looking up, so they're gonna know they already know who most people are. But if you're one of those people that like to live off the grid a certain way, they're gonna know who you are regardless. If you have certain information on your laptop, I would advise you, before you go on that site, to check out the type of information I tell you. Clear certain stuff or save certain stuff, because what they also could do is send a bullet and wipe your stuff out. You could ask Blue Pill and Red Pill about that. So anyway, now with the crystals, they're more in tuned, more psychically. They're more aware of who they are. Very rare you'll find a crystal that don't know they're a crystal. Then you have the rainbow. The rainbows is known as being extremely, and I mean extremely nice. They're known as like having a heart of gold. They're the ones where people might say they're punks, but it's not that they're punks. They just don't have that vengeance or rage in them. More so when they channel the energy, a rainbow channel the energy, they dispel it back with more positivity, more peace. But that could be harmful to them. But like, you have a system, so that system, you have your indigos, you have your crystals, and you have your rainbows. So you have that system. Each one's supposed to be protecting the other. Each one is coming with different attributes or what they need to help this civilization. Now, when you read the Bible or the book of Enoch, let's stick with the book of Enoch that was found. Now, I went into the book of Enoch where they spoke about giants and whatnot, but the book of Enoch don't just speaks about giants. It speaks about a certain people. And you get to learn, even with the fallen angel, had one in particular that showed people how to use the minerals of the earth, such as the crystals and whatnot, the actual crystals. So, it's certain things you could do to activate this in you, or to help your energy flow properly. You understand? So if you don't have your energy flowing, I don't care which one you are, indigo, crystal, rainbow, or shadow, is going to be a problem. Now let me get into the shadow, because a lot of people don't know about the shadow as it should be. When they hear shadow children, they think shadow people, which I also did a lecture on before. It's similar but not the same. It's on a whole nother genre. So you have the shadow people, your shadow people. Again, not the same as shadow children. The shadow children, they can interact with shadow people. Those are the children that you say, when they come up to you and tell you there's a dark figure that showed up in their room, they communicate with this dark figure, or they might be in the corner, facing the corner, talking, and you're like, yo, who the hell are you talking to? And they're like, yo, you don't see that shadow? Like, or they could look at your shadow and tell you, hey, your shadow's moving, or I seen your shadow doing this, or they interacting and they talking to you, but they looking at your shadow. All right. And now that I say that, you're gonna see the people come out the woodworks and they're gonna be like, oh wow, like they thought their child is crazy. Thus the ADD, Ritalin, and all these other drugs, because now it's labeled that their children are crazy. Because think about it. And I only me from being an Indigo, I know I could talk on this and tell you, because I remember when I was younger in school, I went to a counselor and this entity used to want to come try to visit me. And it's so weird. You played Mortal Kombat before? Everybody from old school played Mortal Kombat. I remember when they first interacted, yeah, they merged this character in there and his name was called Noob Sabat. And when I saw the character, it was crazy to me. And it was a shadowy type of character. It's a shadowy type of character. And I'm like, yo, I witnessed that stuff chase me down in my dreams before. You understand? Until when I reach a certain point, like it just stopped coming because I was used to fight it. And I find it weird with Mortal Kombat, they had it during the fight, and I'm talking about the energy that it sends off, that dark shadow to trap you. And I'm like, yo, I was dreaming stuff like this before the video game. So the government, certain people that make these movies, certain people that make these video games, they know about this type of stuff. Like A Scanner Darkly, the guy that did A Scanner Darkly, check out that movie, very good movie. The government approached him and it was like, yo, certain stuff he was writing in his books and was looking to come out with, they was like, yo, this is top secret stuff that the government dealing with. Then this is before like the internet was big, where you could get this type of information or interact with people across the world that did specialize or deal with this type of information. So they stepped to him. They're like, yo, how you know about these type of entities, this type of entities and whatnot? So that's just to throw it out there. So when you have these shadow children, you have to handle them very carefully, because they could get very, I want to choose the word carefully, they could get very wicked. They could get very wicked. And then you have to watch out with the indigos as well, because if that shadow part take over more of the indigo, it's going to be a problem. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a problem. You do not want to run into that type of indigo that embrace that shadow side. And to go even deeper, where you think the whole stuff with Star Wars come from? The light and the dark side. You have something called the force, and within that force you have the light side and you have the dark side. Then again, going back to the Bible, same thing. Going back to Kemet, same thing on the walls. Each culture knows about this light and dark side and knows the history of certain beings that's being born, and know this type of information, such as, again, indigo, crystals, rainbows, and shadows. Now, one of the best ways that I know, I'm going to tell you like two things you could take internally to balance yourself. And because a lot of people, I'm going to mainly talk about the indigos, because like I said, the indigos carry traits a lot of the other three. The indigos is known as the warriors, first of all. You understand? But like in any system, governmental or whatever, you always have a warrior that end up taking over. You know? Of course, they're warriors. That's what they do. Like Khalid Muhammad, for one. He started off down in the ranks, and what ended up happening? He ended up being bigger, and he had that attitude where, yo, get the babies, and you know the rest. I ain't got to go on about that. So you have to know how to handle these, especially if you have a child, and that's any one of these. And let me tell you right now, most people that have children that's being born right now, their children are it. Especially if you're into this type of, how you say, quote unquote conscious community. Rather you be Hebrew, Muslim, Christian. Once you have a consciousness of what's going on, Kemetic, Islam, you probably have a child that's an indigo or whatever, crystal, rainbow, shadow, or you're probably one your damn self and don't even know it. And I'll tell you, if you start, I will tell you if you're a shadow or if you're an indigo and you're getting more in the shadow part. If you always like it, like see like how we have the light here doing an interview, and you like it a lot dimmer, close to dark all the time, and you're able to see real good in the dark. I'm not talking about in your house. You got people be like, yo, I could see in the dark. I could navigate through my house. Yeah, that's because your mind, you already know where everything is. Talk about when you go to a place that is the dark place, especially if you don't get scared like that, you have to evaluate yourself and know, am I going more to that dark side? And then your thoughts mentally. You'll have shadows that'll have more wicked type thoughts. So you got to be careful on that if you have a child that's like that.
Brother. Like I said, these people that have these traits, these indigos, these crystals, they may not be able to. Now these are people with, I guess, that are vibrating on a high frequency. But because society is not structured for that, they may not succeed that much in this type of society. They may not succeed in a traditional left brain school system. Indigos are creative. That's the right hemisphere of the brain. So what they want to know, they're watching this, Joel, today, and they want to know, damn, I do have those, that is me. What he's describing is me. How do I survive in this system, Joel? How do I survive in a left brain dominated society being an indigo? Because I'm in the school and I don't like it, so I drop out, and I drop off. They tell me I'm stupid. They tell me I'm a failure. So then I try to get a job, Joel. I don't like that 9-to-5 shit. So then they tell me I'm lazy because I don't want to work. But it's not that. It's something else. But I don't even have the words to articulate or describe it, Joel. So what I need you to do for all of those thousands of people watching this, tell them how can they function in a society that's left brain dominated when they're right brain dominated internally.
No sweat. No sweat. Okay. I was going to leave this part out. One of the parts I'm about to say now. But with the type of question you broke down and you asked, I have to add it in. You also have a next category called star children. Now, the star children, they are bugged out. Like, you got indigos, rainbows, crystals, shadows. It's like, yo, what's wrong with them? And once they know how to control and what they're doing, they could handle it. But a star child is known to always communicating more with quote unquote extraterrestrials and whatnot. Now, what's going on in our system? You'll have indigos and all these other groups, and this is where the conscious community falls short. When I say conscious community, I'm going to repeat. I'm talking about your Christians, Muslims, Hebrews, Moors, everybody that's supposed to be conscious. We tend to shun these people off when they come around, because you'll have somebody that be like, yo, brother, this happened to me, that happened. I'm talking about in the conscious community. I'm not even talking about, you see, it's just like, get out of here. It's true. I'm talking about in the conscious community. They tend to shun them out. You'll have some Hebrews that be like, yo, brother, this demon, come deal with this and that. And they deal with the Bible, so they know about demons. But when this brother's telling you, yo, he's seeing demons and this is happening, that's happening, you might tell him just say a prayer, this and that. But then when the brother's gone, you saying, yo, the brother's bugged out of his damn mind. What the hell is this brother talking about? This brother see a demon. He needs some medication. The brother needs help. So the conscious community, and like I said, I broke down the conscious community. You understand? Don't just think of it as comedic. I'm talking about everybody that's in this conscious field is conscious. So it starts with us. To hell with the outside world. But I'm going to show you how to deal with the outside world. Again, like you said, you have a job, you don't like the job. Ask me. Now, how do I cope with these people? And on the job, you will get it. Everybody will be like, yo, you weird. You're different. You understand? Until they get to know you and they be like, yo, it's something about you. But they could sense it. That shows you you're special. So how do you cope with that? All right. Spookism is coming out. That's when you start dealing with certain prayers, mantras and stuff you could say. This is a crystal mala. You'll get yourself a crystal mala. If you notice, this one have amethyst, clay quartz, rose quartz. Certain mantras you could say. I could give you an easy run. You could simply say Barakathai, Barakathai, Barakathai. It's 108 beats. You could say that a few times. What that does, it change the structure in your body. When I say structure, I mean, your body is made up of mostly water, right? So once it change up that structure, again, that's an easy prayer. Now, some might not want to conform to that. So if you know a Muslim prayer or whichever one, you do that. As long as it help you and balance you out. Like again, I mainly deal with the Bible. So I could tell you certain Psalms you could say to help you. Like Psalm 91. It got some people, they be bugged out. Sometimes they need Psalm 91. And they're not bugged out because they have a mental deficiency, a chemical imbalance, that something is wrong with them. Is because they cannot handle the energy that's going around with them in everyday society. Because, let's be real. We all say this stuff is an illusion, this is fake. This stuff is really garbage. And when you have somebody that's vibrating on a higher level, they know what's going around them. This stuff ain't real deal. And they seeing stuff that you ain't seeing. All right. They hearing stuff you ain't saying, like frequency. I gave Brother Rich a frequency before. I gave him 2 CDs, the regular Solfegi frequencies, and I gave him the high angelic frequencies. Brother Rich could tell you, he used the frequency. What happened? What day it was, he was like, yo, I felt this in my hand. I was like, yo, you broke your hand there before, right? He was like, yeah, I was younger when that happened. So these frequencies work. These frequencies are very important. Brother King Simon, shout out to him. I gave it to King Simon, and King Simon even said, yo, he been hearing that same frequency for years. If you're a customer and you're hearing certain frequencies like a tone like that, or you feel like something cover your ears, yeah, or like when you put a seashell to your ears, you hear that, you're being more in tune. That's 9 times out of 10 is certain entities looking to communicate with you. You're listening on a higher frequency, and that's not so far-fetched. Watch The Men That Stare Goats. Watch all these other movies where they show the government is involved in these tests. Watch a movie called The Signal. Watch that movie called The Signal. And in that movie, The Signal, they didn't touch on, okay, this person is an indigo or this person is a crystal or whatnot. But you had certain people in that movie, The Signal was not affecting. And they're like, yo, they're watching these people wild out, go bugged, and they killing and whatnot. And they're like, yo, they hear the frequency, but it's not affecting them in a bad way. But the rest of people that was not up on that level, it was affecting them. So if you're a person, you having trouble coping, all right, there's certain crystals that you need to have on you. There's certain prayers you should say. And quite frankly, you need to start being around like-minded people. Again, I repeat, and I'm saying we because we're all part of the conscious community. We can't always get to everybody, and that's the problem. We have to stop shunning people off and saying they're crazy all the damn time. Like, evaluate them, what's going on. But the problem is, when we start talking about stuff like this, the people who's talking about it, you say they're crazy. Like, I know it's going to be on the comment board. You're going to have it. People is going to say you're crazy, you bugged out. And even when you got people that's going through the same damn thing, this is the crazy part. But they don't want to be part of it. Perfect example is the movie Constantine. You ever seen the movie Constantine, Brother Rich? And the lady, she was a twin. And she was used to see the demons, see all this. And she was like, yo, she started saying, yo, her sister's crazy. She blocked it out until she got older. What did the dude have to do in order for her to see? You remember that part of the movie? He put her in the tub of water and given her like a christening. But he also made sure she came close to death as she was fighting up. And as she was fighting up, she was forced to unleash that power, and the tub broke. That's real life stuff. If you're dealing in the Baptist faith, especially West Indians, we know about that. I've seen some stuff like some people tell you, you ever seen electricity run up a wooden chair? You understand what I'm saying? Wooden chair, like this whole thing is dealing with defying the laws that's currently here of physics. So if you're in this genre of indigo, crystal, rainbow, shadow, star. All right? People are going to think you bugged out like the star people. If you're a star child, star peer person, if you're adult, I'm still going to say star child. If you're a star child, one of the best things for you to get into is dealing with the stars, charting out the stars or whatnot. And you will naturally be drawn to that. But because you might be living in the hood and you know, we're in a poverty type of state, you can't afford a telescope, or you just haven't been granted the opportunity to go certain places to get into that field or go to that type of school. You need to push yourself into getting into that. But you have to decipher what you are. Now, in order to cope, if you're a crystal, now let me say this. All those other genres I mentioned, they're empaths. They pick up on other people's emotions, all right? And you could absorb it, and you have to know how to dispel it. Like the rainbows, they're easy at doing that. They're one of the best at doing it.
Well, how do you not absorb somebody's energy?
No, it's not about you not absorbing. Because once you come into that field, you automatically is going to feel it, regardless. You're like a beacon. You yourself are like a beacon. You are everybody walking around is like a walking organ generator. Period. Everybody. And when I say everybody, I'm not just talking about the whole crystals, indigo, stars, and all that. Everybody, especially melanated people. Especially melanated people. Now, the perfect example of that is you have an argon generator. You put quartz crystals in it. It's pretty. Your argon generator is nice. But then you got an argon generator with quartz crystals, moldavite, amethyst, citrine, right, of a shadow, indigo, or whatnot. They just have a bit more. You understand? That's all it is. You have some Caucasians that are shadow crystals, indigos, and all this stuff, and they able to break stuff down to you. Talk about, oh, they not spiritual. When they done with you, you're like, yo, what? All right? You're like, what? When they break you down and read you. And then I mentioned the Human Genome Project. Let's go back to that. You have people that's having the third helix, the extra strands in their DNA, certain parts of the DNA they're finding out that they used to call junk DNA. You have something in your DNA, and that's why indigos got to be very careful. I'm talking just to the indigos now. Indigos have something called a hate gene. There's something that exists called a hate gene. This stuff is crazy. When I saw National Geographic brought it out, and it was like, yo, we found out what this gene does. And it's a hate gene. And it's something with your body when you're like in that, how you say, spiritual type of flow. Well, let's say you're an indigo and whatnot. There's a certain part of your DNA that's just like stronger than other parts. And that's why you'll see them like, if I was to really give Khalid Muhammad a real evaluation, which I did, meaning that I checked him out on how he moved, I would say Khalid is an indigo. Because he was with the Nation of Islam, and we know how they move. You understand what I'm saying? Khalid got kicked out. Why? He was like about, yo, kill the babies, dig them up, kill them again. And people was like, yo, this nigga crazy. Not just because he said kill the babies. He said, yo, let's dig them up and kill them again. You know the mentality you have to say something like that? You know what part of your DNA have to be activated to come out with stuff like that? Just the thought about it. It's one thing when you kill somebody. A lot of people have no problem shooting somebody because it's easy. Right? They have no problem. Some don't have a problem with stabbing nobody because it's easy. Right? I shoot you, I stab you real quick, I keep it moving. But it takes somebody to really grab you, peel your skin off. You know? No, I know. I'm getting graphic because they ask. No, it is what it is. Because some people, if they don't check their children, like them children that be throwing the damn cats in the oven, let's not act like this don't be happening. Let's not act or pretend like this ain't going on. Children that's throwing puppies, killing dogs, throwing their little brother down the steps or their little sister down the steps. Where are they getting this from? And then, back to what you said earlier, they go to the hospital. What happened? See, nobody want to talk about it because it's graphic, but yet the stuff will keep going on instead of understanding. They understand what's going on. They understand us. And that type of person, they say, we rather have that person on our side. How they put that person on their side? They put them in certain governmental facilities, projects, or they put their ass in jail. Like Dr. Phil Valentine brought that out years ago. Certain people they had in jail, and they will bring them out. They treat them good in jail. But they'll bring them out. This is not a secret, by the way. They'll bring them out to go do certain hits and jobs, the messy stuff on people. So we got to go deep into this. Yo, the mindset of certain people to push their own brother or sister down the steps or drown their own brother and sister. I'm talking about no fighting going on or whatnot. What's wrong with that person? And then when they check them out, because some people do have chemical imbalances, correct? But when they check them out, no chemical imbalance. They wasn't sexually abused, physically abused as a child. You have a spiritualist come in, and then the spiritualist might be demons or whatever, depending on what they pick up. But how is this stuff able to interfere with them? How are they able to interact? And I'm telling you, National Geographic found out about the hate gene. And the worst one to have a hate gene activated is a damn indigo. Because they go hard. Yeah. See, I'm not just going to give people the good. I'm going to give people the bad. I'm not, there is a bad part. I'm not just going to give people where, romanticize it. Oh, you're an indigo, then you're the greatest person on earth. That might be true. You might be a crystal, you're the greatest person on earth. You might be a rainbow, the greatest person on earth. But there is side effects. And if you, especially I'm talking to the adults, if you don't check your child in time, your child will end up being one of those that end up in the government facilities, working for the government, doing certain jobs for them, or in a jail, or having certain testing products where they're testing them for certain drugs. You understand? So when they testing them for these different type of drugs and whatnot on them, it's to shut them down, because they know once there's enough of them, which a lot of them are being born, and they come together and they activate, because something is coming. I don't care rather if you believe in the Most High God or not. Jesus, Yahweh Shai, whatever else you want to conform to, there's something coming. And when that energy is coming, there's a certain amount of people. This is in their own governmental files. So what they doing, what the government doing, learning about indigos, what the government doing, learning about star children, rainbow children, and shadow children. If you watch the new heroes, the new heroes, they had to, it's so watered down and corny. They had to water that shit down. They had to. But even in the new one, if you pay attention, it had one chick and she's able to control. Have you seen it yet, Brother Rich?
I've seen one episode.
She's able to control the darkness, the shadows and whatnot. When it's dark, it's a reason for this. You have crystals. Crystals is good at controlling time. If they really put their mind to something, they could complete a task so fast because they have a way of speeding up time. Again, this is stuff that's in governmental documentation. That's how I know some of it. That's how these people are able to write books. There's tons of books on this. And when you see these, they always got the government have their hands in it. And I'm not just talking about the U.S. government. I'm talking about the Asian government. I'm talking about all over. All over. So we need to start paying attention. Now, there's certain stuff you could take, again, to get yourself in order. You got something called monatomic gold. I like the black one. As you could see, I don't know, it might be a bit blurry for them. You could get a good shot of that, Brother Rich. No problem. He'll take a picture if anything. Monatomic gold. Very good for you. This is the black one we have here. You'll notice it straighten you out. If you're a person, again, you are an empath, you fall in one of them genres, a crystal store and whatnot, you have something called kava kava. I don't have the bottle here, but Brother Rich could take a picture of it and show you. Kava kava. When you go around them people in the workplace and you're like, I'm feeling, and I laugh because it happens to me, and I'm like, yo, what the hell is wrong with these damn people? I'm feeling what's going on, and you need to calm down. Kava kava.
Like anxiety?
Yes. You got that anxiety working up and whatnot? Kava kava.
What's kava? What's that?
That's a herb. What it does is, like, if you're constantly excited and overactive and whatnot, or you very stressed, because some of the attributes with indigos and all these other ones that I mentioned, they will exception of the rainbow, they will get real stressed. You understand? For a rainbow to get stressed, they got to be into more of a close life or death type of experience. So when they act like that, you have the kava kava tea that calms them down, help you sleep, and kava kava have levels of melanin. It helps enhance your melanin a lot more. So 2 and 2 together. Yeah, we sell that here. Kava kava. So the monatomic gold, Dr. Blair talked about this. This stuff is amazing. At first, when I heard him talk about it, I was like, eh. And I was sleeping on it for a while. And then I started using it, and I was like, wow, this stuff is great. So the monatomic gold is very good. Then you have the calcium bentonite clay. Now, let me tell you something now. This is to help detox you, all right? Anybody that's, how you say, crystal, indigo, star, rainbow, shadow, you would want to properly detox your body. That's one of the reasons why they also putting so much damn chemicals in the food. It is to help throw your brain off balance, your whole chemical structure off balance, and then you're not in the right state of mind. So it'll be good to properly detox your system. And that's probably one of the most important information out of all the information I just gave you here. You have to properly detox your body, especially with these chemtrails they're spraying. So, the chemtrails have certain, how you say, biological entities in it that's not even known to this earth. They have certain minerals in the chemtrails that they tested that's not even known to this earth. So they know what they're trying to do. They're trying to synthesize this stuff with your DNA, because once they got you, they know who you are. They know what you're dealing with. They know what is to come. So they have to throw you off. Once they start seeing you can't really cope in certain society, it's a wrap. Once they see that, it's a wrap. So they know who you are. I'm going to tell you right now off the back, they know who you are. Next thing is the alkaline ionized water. All right? Now, you have to have the right type of water in your system. So I don't want to hear garbage. Brother Rich, I already did interviews on that. Go back, check the old stuff. I'm not going to go too deep into that. You need to have the right type of water in your system, because your body, your brain alone, let's forget the rest of your body. Just the brain alone is 90% water. 90%? The brain, yeah, Brother Rich. The brain alone is 90% water.
That's why you get headaches when you do that.
Exactly. When you drink and somebody have a hangover, that's why, like, you have this guy, this Arab guy, and he was buying the water, and he liked to drink a lot, party and whatnot. And he was like, yo, one thing I learned about this, your water, I can't give it to the women when they're drunk. They sober up. And we know what he's trying to do when they have all them drinks. He was like, he was straight up with me. He was like, yo, I don't give it to them. Because I notice when I give it to them, they come over to your plate. You want a drink of water? You give them a drink of water. They sober up. They get in their right mind. And that's all because that alkalinity, proper blood flow going to the brain, proper oxygen flowing to the brain. So they're more in tune now. So now you have, let's get into some crystals. Because like I said, everything is energy, frequency. You have this right here. Apophyllite. Now let me spell this for you. APOPHYLLITE. Now, this is a nice big piece. You sleep with this under your bed. For people that say they see certain things, remember I said about the shadows? If you have children and you have certain shadow entities, like not harming them but constantly coming around them and especially influencing them with the wrong things to do, for the people who are experienced out there, they know what I'm talking about. This is a great stone to get. It's getting very expensive. Nonetheless, it's a great stone to get. All right. Now, it's for all other ones too, the indigos and whatnot, to get your brain function right. I ain't gonna get into all the attributes of the stone. I'll say you have this book. It's called the Book of Stones. We also sell this here at Nicholas, and this is the other version. We got the newest revived version. Now you have something called shungite. This is a shungite pyramid. You could put this in your water, drink the water, and it'll help your energy. It also kills certain bacteria and whatnot in the water because it's carbon based. It's carbon based. That's the very powerful part about this. Now, you know how you have certain children and when they newborn, especially the West Indians, you ever seen them with a red and black bead on their arm? Like you saw one on my baby, right? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. You saw one on my baby. That's called jet. The black one is called jet. The red is just like a red stone, any red stone they use just for the color of the energy. All right? The energy, the energy the color red gives off. But the stone that they make sure they use is jet. And if you go buy a real one, it's going to be expensive. I'm not talking about no $2 one. I'm talking about a real deal one that'll cost you like $80. All right? And it's actual gold. That's the one I made sure my baby have. This is jet. If you have a baby and let's say you can't get that bracelet I'm talking about, and the baby is constantly always like this, and then one day be happy, and then one minute you see them go like this, and they're like, and you could see something like really terrified them and scared them, I would advise you get jet ASAP. Because either your baby falls under the indigo on down to star, those genres that I mentioned, and they're seeing certain things, and a lot of times the entities are drawn to them, or they come around a certain person and all of a sudden the person be real nice, not a bad person, but they constantly I mean real scream like they being murdered, is because they picking up the energy of that person. That's all it is. It's really that simple. Now to get your psychic abilities more enhanced, we have Herkimer Diamond, but this one is actually Pachymer. Red and blue pill know about this. You can ask them about this. This is called Pachymer. They love this stuff. Herkimer Diamond or Pachymer. The Pachymer is nothing more than a more stronger element of the Herkimer Diamond, because this is actually from Pakistan. The Herkimer Diamonds, as you know, is from Herkimer, New York. When they dig up around there and whatnot, like that's the main place you find it. And that's one of the reasons Donald Trump is buying up the damn mines or collecting it, crushing it up in the cement and putting it around his damn building. That's the next story. So you do the math why he doing that. Now, for those stars, again, all this could apply to all the other groups. We have something called conscious agate. You'd want to get yourself conscious agate. You could put it in a bowl of water, put it under your bed. You'll notice you get more vivid dreams, more prophetic dreams, and everything will have more clarity. You'll understand. For those people in the workplace that you just can't cope with, wear this and you'll see everything will go easy for you. Next thing we have is topaz. Villa Garcia. This one is from Mexico. Very, 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 very powerful piece of topaz. Very powerful. Topaz is very good for all those people that having trouble coping with other people. You understand? Then you have hemimorphite. Hemimorphite is a stone. I sleep with this under my pillow. And I'm telling you, the dreams, the visions, the stuff that's to come, you'll witness. Especially if you're having trouble. Like one lady, she had problems with certain entities in her home and whatnot. She took it, anointed it for her, fixed it up. I told her, yo, these are the oils you go take a bath with. When she came back, the crystal was cracked. She was like, yo, nobody else was in the house. The crystal was cracked. Hemimorphite, it was cracked. That's because the energy. Ever since then, she ain't had a problem again. because of the energy. Now, this particular lady I'm talking about, she fall more under a crystal. You understand? Because she was like, she's in tune, and the stuff kept will bothering her. She'll wake up with the scratches on her legs, on her arm, bruises, because they was beating her ass. So it is what it is. Like I said, we like to dismiss this stuff, but when you have your child waking up and the child got a bruise, and you're like, oh no, they're bruising themselves. Your child is not bruising their damn self. All right? Certain stuff is happening to them. Now, you have something called white thyme. Bathe with this. This will help you dramatically, mentally open you up, especially to help you study if you want to meditate or whatnot, and an overall spiritual cleanser. Then you have wintergreen. Heard Brother Azazel talk about wintergreen. He gave an excellent breakdown. I haven't heard nobody break down wintergreen like him. This is the next good thing you could bathe with, mop out your place. Lemon eucalyptus. People on the job, you have those people that notice you different, they just don't like you. Use the lemon eucalyptus. Bathe with it. Put some on, a drop on, you'll see what happens. Last thing I'm going to show you, a pendulum. Learn to use it. If you want to know what you are, you could ask it a question or just put it over your hand or whatnot. You'll see the energy, how it moves. The pendulum is very good because it's going to give you the answers, period. A lot of the major companies, they use this to find water. Yes, I'm going to repeat. The major companies that go all South Africa, all these different places, with all the damn equipment they have, they use either the L-shaped rod or they use the pendulum. They still go back to this because it's certain minerals that will block certain visuals of the machinery where they can't see underground to see where the water is and whatnot. But guess what? They find it with a pendulum. Very simple. You put it over your hand. You want to find out what your child dealing with. You put it over your hand. If you notice, it's already going back and forth. And I know you're going to have them damn naysayers. And this nigga moving his hand back and forth. I'm not moving my hand. Now, anytime you start seeing it back and forth, and a next indication of your child is any one of those indigo, star, whatnot, as the stuff is moving, they're going to feel like if the crystal's going back and forth in their palm. So, that's an indication. And be careful if you're a parent and you're none of them and your child is. See how it's circling? If your child is one, do not make your child control you because they will play you. Once they see they know more than you because of spiritually and what they are, they will try to control you. Okay? So, you put the mic down. Oh, so be very careful. That hurt me. Don't let your child control you. If you're not on that aspect with power and know what's going on, they will try to control you. You have to nip it in the bud. Please take this information I gave you very seriously. Because if you have a child, like I said, shadow, indigo, whatever it is, especially indigo, and you start seeing them looking to do wicked stuff, and they have no reason, like nothing happened to them in their life, they doing this wickedness, you gotta nip it in the butt because they will end up being bad if you don't take action. I remember I was going down that path, and I ain't gonna say everything that was going on, but I know what I'm talking about. I remember the path I was going down, and thank God my moms and pops, they was in that spiritual, they're Hebrew, so, but they weren't Hebrew where they don't learn about the Bible and the spiritual stuff and just be like, oh, this brother crazy and whatnot. So they know what was going on. And they're West Indian. Most West Indians do know about this stuff. They might not know the actual terminology. And a lot of people from the South, if you notice, they got a lot of similarities, the Southerns and the West Indians. But that's my time. I hope gave you proper information. All right, Nicholas, Brooklyn, 570 Fulton Street. Soon we will be moving to Restoration Plaza, but you could just check us out. Brother Rich will put the number up on there. You could check us out, call us, any information that you actually need. A matter of fact, let me just give you the number verbally so people know the exact number and what's going on before we run out of time. And mind you, we're in Mercury retrograde. See, I'm trying to find this stuff, and all of a sudden my phone is acting up now. We're in Mercury retrograde. Maybe that's why this happened. See, phone restarted just like that. I'm trying to get the contact information real quick. In Mercury retrograde, be very careful with an indigo star. Any one of those that I mentioned. Like I said, if you have a rainbow, you're more cool in the clear because they're more peaceful. Mercury retrograde, they will absorb so much energy from what's going around from different people and whatnot. They will be moving real bugged out. So be very careful anytime we're in the part of Mercury retrograde. All right, because that affects indigos, especially I notice with indigos, it affects them greatly. So you got to be real careful on that. All right, the number is 718-858-4400. All right, check us out. You'll get this information. You see what's going on. This is very important. This is stuff that's considered taboo. A lot of people don't want to talk about, but we're coming down the line. Like I said, we have to talk about it. Don't let the Caucasian take everything and writing books and doing all the interviews because they don't know much as what we know. They know a lot about us, but they don't know everything about us. That's why a lot of times they fear us. So, with that, peace.